Leftovers at Midnight, episode 6, with our guest Tommy from the band Delineate. How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing peachy.
Doing good,
peachy.
yo.
It's going.
Good. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a relatively easy day so far. So, I
That's
mean,
good.
I got 2 hours to ruin it. So,
Awesome. I want to make
Let's do it.
I want to make a quick note. There was no episode last week because we filmed the entire thing, and as I went to export it from an HKV to an MP4 file, the whole fucking thing got corrupt, and I gave up after 2 hours of trying. So, for the little bit of you that were looking forward to that episode, because we get 10 to 20 views an episode, so it's gotta be someone. Sorry, I can't do anything about it. So we have this episode. It's gonna go a little bit longer than usual, and we're gonna try and make it pretty entertaining for everybody.
Oh yeah, I blame Kyle.
Yeah, fuck Kyle. So
It's all Quiet Kyle's fault.
Fuck did I
Just
ever do to
100%
any
of
of
it.
you?
Well, you're fine.
What happened?
Kyle.
Kyle's fault.
We've made you a meme.
Yeah,
I don't want to be a meme. I don't want to be that meme specifically.
Kyle
Then
is
you
a
should have
Quiet
signed up for
Kyle
Leftovers of
teacher.
Midnight if you didn't want to be a meme. Sorry.
Rip.
Quiet Kyle t-shirts coming soon.
Shut
So
up, Alex.
Tommy, you're in a band. Three
I
of
am,
us are
yes.
repping your merch. Me, Kyle, and Eric. I don't think Alex has any, but that's all right.
I do not, unfortunately.
Tell the listeners and viewers about your band, what's going on, what you do in there. Tell us all about it, because we don't know anything.
I've been playing guitar for Delineate for a little over 3 years now. Golly. It seems like it hasn't really even been that long, but it's Delineate, Delineate. It's a
It didn't work.
needlessly complicated to spell word, but we're a metalcore band out of the Tampa area in Florida. We're kind of all over the place. We have guys out in Sarasota. We got a guy out in Brandon. And then for a little while, our drummer was living in St. Pete, and so Tampa area, I guess. We are working on some new stuff. We have a lot of music like ready to go in studio with. We're just we're working on getting picking out what we're gonna do, just because there's so much music,
Yeah.
and then actually getting in to get it tracked. So we're hoping to get that done pretty soon. We're like that close.
So
Getting there.
I have a quick question for you, Tommy.
What's up?
Just because it just kind of popped into my head here. So what is it like trying to get studio time amidst the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, we are actually in a really, really uniquely blessed situation because our singer Brian runs Vanadium Recordings, so we can go and we have all of us have some means of recording our instruments, and so we don't even necessarily have to go in to Brian's apartment to record everything, but we can send stems just basically from where we are, and he can mix them in however he needs to put the processing and EQs and all the effects and everything. So the thing that is holding us up right now actually is vocal tracking, because Brian does live in an apartment and he has neighbors
Yeah.
who have more than once expressed discontent at the loud sounds coming out of his apartment. So we're trying to keep him from getting kicked out.
Yeah. Do you guys have any albums out?
Yeah, we have 2 full-length albums. We have our first album was The Sound of the City, came out back in 2017. And then our most recent album, You Will Find Safety, came out last year. Both were a labor of love. You Will Find Safety is definitely a heavier release for sure. I mean, the lineup and everything changed drastically between when our first album was written and our second album was written. So you can definitely tell the difference there.
Have you noticed a big quality improvement, I guess is the right word, between the first album and the second album? Like, have you noticed you're a little bit more tight on certain things than you were in the first record?
Absolutely. I mean, every time you get into the studio, like you kind of learn something new about what you can do better while you're in the studio. Like nothing is done in one take. And usually Brian makes us do everything twice, even when we get it right, just for the sake of fail safes on fail safes. So yeah, I definitely feel like it's a more diverse release. The first album, Sound of the City, was written primarily by our singer Brian. He wrote most of the album before any of us joined the band, with the exception of a couple of songs. And with You Will Find Safety, we had the influence of not only me and Nick, the guitar players, but our bass player Austin writes. He writes music like a machine. It's ridiculous. In the time that I can put out, maybe one song that I'm really, really proud of, he's probably got like 25 that he's completed
Wow.
start to finish in one day.
Jeez.
Damn.
Out. And they're all good. Like you can't even be mad that he's like producing quantity over quality, because they're all good, and that's why we have such a hard time deciding on what to put in.
That's super impressive.
Yeah, that
It is.
sounds like a hell of a time. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's
So
like how like we all have hobbies, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
play video games, or uh, you know, I play music at home, but my hobbies are doing yo-yo tricks and magic and whatever the hell. His whole thing, the only thing that he ever does, is play music. Like he goes home. It's slowed down since he got a girlfriend. I will say that. Abby, if you see this. um, but yeah, he's just a machine. He's incredible. Like one of the best songwriters that I've been able to be in sustained contact with.
Yeah. So, have you noticed, does your playing change from when you're playing at home to when you're in the moment you have to record and get it right, and you've nailed it hundreds of times before, but now you're on the spot, you have to get it right so you're not wasting everybody's time? Have you noticed that, or does it just come naturally to you?
So it's a weird way to say it, but I have noticed there is a change in the way that I do it, that I do naturally, but it is not a positive change. So I'll, when I'm sitting at home, I'll lean back, I'll sit in my chair with my guitar, just like wherever. When I'm in the studio, I'm like perfect posture, like sat up like this, like trying to be
Classical.
as proper as I can be. And most often that actually screws me up, and I end up having to like make myself relax just to be able to get it like I do when I'm playing at home.
So, do you guys got any tours planned? What's going on since COVID hit? Were you playing shows? I mean,
So we had some shows that got canceled right as COVID started. We were going to be playing. Nomadic had a release show at Crowbar that was going to be a really, really awesome lineup. And you just, as it got closer, we just like barely missed the opportunity to play that show with COVID as it came through. That was like right before the 2 weeks before the show was when they called the mandatory stay
oh,
inside.
Yeah.
So
Lockdown.
after that,
Hmm.
there was a couple of festivals that we were looking at, but they've all obviously since been canceled. Um, Mainly the hardest thing has been like we haven't been able to have like an actual band practice. We've had to kind of
uh,
be on each other about actually like practicing our instruments and practicing the songs, because we haven't, like even the place that we normally rent out to practice, it's called uh, Spatterdash Studios, I believe is what they changed the name to. It used to be What We Live For, and they changed the name recently. But yeah, even they were like for a while just not even letting people come to practice, which
Hmm.
absolutely, like don't let people into your space when there's a national pandemic.
Y-
But
Yeah.
that's been pretty brutal.
who's the biggest act you've ever opened up for?
Personally, or like as Delineate?
Both.
Personally, the biggest band that so this was back when I was in the Iliad. We played with um, it was a really weird lineup, but it was Dayseeker and Prison. That was a really cool show. We opened for Chelsea Grin. That was a really
Oh,
crazy
wow.
show out at the Orpheum.
Damn.
Well, shit.
What?
Um, the Iliad opened for Sworn In. Um, Back in the day, like one of the older bands that I was in opened up for King Conquer, which was like the biggest thing in the world to us at the time. They were like a bigger local band, but like
I know who they are.
everybody knew who they were, and we thought that they were the most famous people we'd ever meet. That was a super cool show. And then we played with in Delineate. We played with hmm, trying to think of what the biggest one would be. Probably when we played at Crowbar, with it was a really weird lineup for us. Like we were the heaviest band on the lineup, but oh man, now I'd see that like we haven't opened up for that big of bands because a lot of the shows that we've played as Delineate have been like local festivals.
Mhm.
You know, we
Right.
played Weeping Wound when they did their album drop last year. We played
I was
Hope
there.
Fest a couple of times. We played a lot of album release shows, just like kind of supporting the hometown. And a lot of that comes down to like the ticket sales. Because this is something that most people who are not in the specifically like the heavy music industry or the heavy music scene um, don't see this often, but the idea of pay to play by means of selling like pre-order tickets to your shows is really common, and it's really backwards in my opinion. It's something that generally we prefer not to have to do. And so we've made do as we can by, picking up lineups that are beneficial to us based on, who's going to be there rather than who we're playing with.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, they'll hand you 50 tickets at 15 or $20 each and say, if you don't sell all these, you don't get paid.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and
Jeez.
it's not always that
Sucks.
brutal. I mean, we've worked with a lot of guys that are pretty chill about it. But there's, it creates another kink in the chain of like, oh, well, I'm expecting this much money, but this band let us down, so they undersold by 20 tickets, which means all the bands get paid less, you know? So
Mm.
it's just brutal, man. And so we've elected to avoid it when we can, unless it's a really big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
Pretty cool.
Sounds
You
rough.
guys that does. You guys played with those Sleeper, right? Or did that never end up happening?
That never ended up happening. That was a show that we
No.
get on. It was, yeah, that was supposed to be a big deal, and I that never did end up happening. Am I
That's
tripping?
unfortunate.
Now I have to look. I'm gonna have to look. I I am, I'm really, really bad. Like, Chelsea Grin, Dayseeker, and Prison are bands that I listen to all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at one point, I don't listen to Chelsea Grin that much anymore, but, uh, they're bands that, like, I'm super familiar with. A lot of the
Yeah.
bands that Delineate plays with are way, like, they're not as heavy as what I'm used to listening to because we are not as heavy as what I'm used to listening to on a pretty regular basis. You know what I mean?
Makes
So
sense.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
fair.
mixed up constantly.
I have got two more questions and I'll let everybody else go. Just my brain's going. Um what what's the most important message that you have in your music, would you say? Collectively, since I'm sure it's not just one person writing every song, what are you trying to get across with your first album and your second album? Like what's the point? Like that you're trying to get across, I guess.
With our most recent album, I don't want to speak too much on our
Right.
first album because I know that it was a very personal story to Brian, and it's not necessarily my story to mess up,
Mhm.
Um, but with our most recent album, it's called "You Will Find Safety," and a lot of it has to do with kind of grappling with death. We have "Arbiter of Loss" and "No Life, No Name" as descriptions of death. If you listen to the song "Murderer," that is about the moment that a man who is considering suicide is considering his meeting with like the physical embodiment of death. And it's not necessarily like an obsession with death as in like a dark way, but more like a presenting it in an open environment, in a very real environment, in my opinion. It's something that is obviously taboo for a lot of reasons, but it's also something that is so natural that you know it's it's scary, but it's not necessarily something to be afraid of. and that's where a lot of the lyrical focus in You Will Find Safety is about, is finding that safety.
Okay, that's that's really cool. That's
I dig
Yeah,
it.
that's
definitely.
deep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
My final question, then everyone else, you ask yours, so I'm not fucking hogging up shit here.
You're good,
Um,
dog.
what's one stereotype that you want Delineate to break when it comes to, oh, you can't understand them, they're just screaming, there's no message in those lyrics, it's just a bunch of noise, blah blah blah. What's one thing that you hope people will listen to your music and be like, oh, there's, a lot of emotion behind this because he's speaking about this or this?
I don't know necessarily that breaking that stereotype has ever really been on the agenda of our band, because you can't make somebody like a sound. You
Right.
can't force it. But
Yeah.
we do hope that, in some way, that the emotion behind our music can speak to someone, even if that's not what they prefer to listen to. It's not a, oh, well, we're gonna make sure that all the metal guys have feelings too.
Right.
We're hoping that in some way we can speak to someone regardless of what their situation is, or where they're at in their life, or what kind of music they're listening to. It's you'll find that on our albums, on both of our albums, there's like a really um intentional mix of heavier tracks with um songs like the title tracks, like The Sound of the City and You Will Find Safety. Those title tracks are very like heartfelt, and very clean. You know what I mean? Like, there's no heavy vocals on them, and like I said, you can't make somebody like a sound. So if there's something for everybody on that album, that's kind of what the best we could hope for.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
I fucking like
Right
it a
on.
lot.
That's yeah.
Well, you can't reduce people to like convincing them that the thing that you're doing is the best thing.
Exactly.
And obviously you want to have that confidence in your music and your performance and what you've created. But um, for the sake of breaking a stereotype, it's a completely different agenda and vibe. Similar to like how if you were to ask um, Zach De La Rocha from
Mhm.
Rage Against the Machine, like what he wanted the people who listen to Rage to feel like, or if he said, "What do you want people who listen to country music to feel when they listen to your music?" His music is for the people. It's for the small guy. It's for the underdog. Like that's who he's creating
Mhm.
for. And if somebody in that likes country music hears Testify and thinks that that's the coolest riff they ever heard in their life, then that's good on Rage Against the Machine. But that wasn't really what they were going for.
Yeah. What you guys
Now I've
got?
got that song
On
stuck in my
behalf of
head.
Machine here, but
I I got a question for you, Tommy. You personally, who is your biggest influence in your playing?
oh man, and that changes. That changes with the seasons. I think recently, like my biggest influence has been Ichikanito. He started out basically as like an Instagram guitarist, and the dude is absolutely insane.
He's
Actually,
so
Robbie
good.
is the one who showed me him to begin with. He's one of my favorite guitar players ever. Um, in general, like from when I first started playing, probably like Steve Vai, um, Mark Knopfler from the Dire Straits. Let's see, Clapton. I mean, like that's a corny way, a corny one
Yeah.
to say. But Clapton is changed the
I
game.
think that's everybody a little bit who plays
Yeah,
guitar, though.
Tosin Abasi is a killer guitar player.
He's so good, dude.
JB Brubaker from August Burns Red had a huge influence on a really good chunk of my life as a guitar player. Just like the way that they write their riffs is so cool and so distinct, that has always stuck with me. But recently for sure is Ichikanito, and then Mateus Sasato is really good too.
Nice.
Yeah, my
So
buddy.
Yeah, actually. So Mike, I have like kind of like a two-parter.
Okay.
So, kind of when you were growing up, what kind of led you into music? And for the second part, who's kind of your inspiration for getting into music as you're growing up?
So I have a two-part answer to that two-part question. So
I would hope so.
my Uncle Tommy, the one I was named after, was one of the best guitar players I've ever met in my life. Like
That's
hands down,
awesome.
or none. He was absolutely incredible. And I got my first guitar for my 10th birthday and went immediately and started learning. Like he gave me, little lessons once every month when I would see him. And shortly after that, I switched schools. My middle school I was at, just public schools, Bayonet Point, in Port Richey, and I switched over to Dayspring Academy, which was this charter school that, for in some ways, I really, really am grateful to have gone there, and in some ways, I really wish I never would have. But if not for Dayspring, I would not still be a musician. I don't think.
Really?
The specific person that I have to credit with that initially is Eric Mullins from Mullins Music. They're
Word.
a nonprofit organization where initially the first thing that they started doing was called Rock Week, and it's like this 5-day music camp where they throw you in a room with 4 other kids you've never met who play different instruments than you, and they say learn these 4 songs and write a song, and at the end of the week you're going to play a show, which is
Whoa.
terrifying
Yeah, I
and
Wow.
believe it.
absolutely incredible. I have done some of the coolest stuff. I mean, we played covers of anybody you could think of, freaking Michael Jackson, Flyleaf, Bill Withers, Green Onions, like anything and everything from every different kind of genre that could potentially have some influence on rock and roll as a genre. We played something, and if not for that, so I took guitar class with Eric Mullins. He was my guitar teacher in 6th grade,
Yeah.
and at the end of the year, he came up to me with an envelope and he said, "Here, I don't know if you're interested in this, but if you are, we're doing this music camp." And this was the first year that they had ever done it. He's like, "I would really like to give you this scholarship so that you can go." Because it costs a couple $100 just to make sure that everybody's fed for the week.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so he gave me the scholarship, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And I did it every year for 10 years after that. Even
Damn.
after like I aged out, like
Whoa, dude.
I was
Wow.
there as an intern for like 3
That's
years.
awesome.
Dude, that's
I
really
would have
cool.
kept doing it too. The only thing that really stopped it was just because the timing didn't really line up once I had a full-time job. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but I'm still super, super grateful to Eric and Marina Mullins, and Conrad Appelgren was another guitar teacher I had at Dayspring who worked with Mullins Music. So support Mullins Music because they're amazing. They do all kinds of amazing, amazing work for kids, helping them learn how to play rock and roll and not just like being a stuffy, music
Yeah.
lesson.
Right.
They make it
Good.
very interesting. They provide so much music education in the realm of rock and roll and otherwise. I mean, Eric Mullins is an unbelievable sax player. Like it was funny to me that he taught guitar because he's an unbelievable sax player. But
Hmm.
yeah, support Mullins Music. That's like if I had to plug anything today, I'm plugging them.
I know a good sax player.
For sure.
Oh, dude, that's
So
super awesome.
So I actually have a question for you. Not just personal, but like I guess as a band. I want to know what your first like performance in front of an audience was. Like the first time you hopped up on stage in front of like fans, viewers, whatever you want to call them. Like just kind of walk me through that. Like tell me what happened.
So like for Delineate's first show.
Sure. It delineates first show or like your first performance in the Iliad, whatever, like as a unit, what was that initial experience like, hey, we're a band, curtains open.
So I'll give you the two. I'll give you the Delineate first show and then like my first show in the metal scene because that's kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in a couple of bands back when I was younger. Like my first band we started when we were 12 years old and we were together for like a year and a half and we were real bad. And I'm not going to say the name of that band on this stream because I love
Ah,
it. But after that in high school, I was in a band called the Race to the Empire. And that was like we were still playing like the Pasco County Library System Battle of the Bands, which also a great program. Support them too. But like it wasn't, it was to provide the opportunity for bands to do a battle of the bands, and that
Yeah.
was pretty much the only shows we were playing at the time.
Okay.
But when I joined Active Mercy, which eventually became the Iliad, the first show we played, I feel was a complete train wreck. And not for anybody's fault but mine, because I was brand new, and I had to write new lyrics to all the songs, and I had like, I want to say it was like 2 weeks
Oh,
um
jeez.
from when I joined the band to when we played our first show with me as the vocalist, and then I had to learn this cover. It was Open Letter by the Amity Affliction. I
I
had
love that
never heard
song.
that song before. I
Such a
had
good
never
song.
life, and I had to learn all the words to it so we could play this cover on stage. And it was so much fun. I mean, it was a mess, but it was so much fun. Everybody who was there had fun. I'm still friends with people that I met at that show. And then, like, fast forward almost 4 years, I guess, to our first show with Delineate. That was insane. Like, that was an insane feeling because Delineate had been a band for a while, you know,
Right.
and we had a couple of tracks out already. We had You Live in the Dark and The Author's Voids were out. They were music videos at that point. But no one had heard anything else from us. Like, everybody knew us as Brian's band. Like, and booked our first show at What We Live For Studios, which is now Spatterdash. And they gave us an insanely good deal on renting the door. So we booked that. We booked a couple of good friends of ours bands, Young Ghosts, absolutely killer, and Archaic, who Brian is now the singer in that band too.
Yeah.
So it can't be two Brian's bands, but and Archaic was there. A band called Greenhaven was there, and they became the most unfortunate name for a band you can have right now, which is Rona. It's
Oh no.
RNA.
Oh
Oh
shit.
man.
Yeah, Introvert out there. Introvert's a crazy good rapper. I've known him for as long as I've been in bands, since I was probably like 12 years old. He played the first show that I ever played in my very first band, and he's an incredible guy. Shout out to Big Forehead Jesus.
Shout
But
out.
he was there. Like, we had a lot of people, or a lot of really really awesome people playing that night, and we supposedly, according to the sound engineer, he's like, we've never had this many people in here before. Like we broke their record, which admittedly, like, wasn't a huge crowd. It was like, I want to say tops 200 people, if that. Like, that was
Okay.
probably more. Probably
I
more
mean, that's
than
a
that,
pretty
like,
moderate amount.
but they were crammed into the building, dude, and playing in front of a stage, in front of just just a packed house. Like, no joke. It was one of the coolest things that you could imagine, because,
Adrenaline
Awesome.
rush.
like, all of our family was like in the first row, like yelling our lyrics back at us, which, is something that is super corny and taboo, or not, like cliche, like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
lyrics back to me. But like, when you actually have it happen, it's incredible, and then you never see it again. You like Hannah has been at every single one of our shows. Hannah, my fiance, and um, she knows every word to every song. She knows the words better than I know the words, and but usually she's like the only one that knows all the words to every song, and then we gotta hope that we're good enough that somebody wants to go and learn them.
What's your favorite song you've written or performed?
Um, probably Nikita. I wrote Nikita on You Will Find Safety for actually Hannah's. She had a service animal named Nikki. She was a Alaskan Malamute, and she passed away a couple of years ago. And it was really really tough on Hannah and on me at the time. I mean, I hadn't known her for very long, but like, it was a big deal, and it still hits home to think about. And so Nikita is a song about, like, if you kind of take it in two parts. So Josh, our screaming vocalist, was sort of from the perspective of Hannah, in the moment, and Brian was sort of singing from Nikki's perspective, like, after she had passed. And you know, in this scenario, like Nikki is saying, it's okay. Like I don't hurt anymore. I'm feeling better. It's not lonely. And Hannah in that situation is saying, you know, I would do anything to bring you back. You know, it hits home for me. And it's some of probably my most inspired like uh technical like music work in my opinion. And I can't take like all the credit for that song because I had help from both Austin and Nick writing that song for sure. But it was, you know, it was a big deal for me to have like to have that track there. It meant a lot, and I'm really really happy with the way it came out.
That's awesome. That's
That's
a
awesome.
fucking great story. You're gonna make me cry, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm
fantastic.
trying not to get emotional right now.
I don't know if any of you guys have seen like the YouTube streaming video for that song, but it's got clips of Nikki in that video, like in the break between the last chorus and like the very end of the song. There's like an 8-bar break. And in that, there's like a couple of clips of Nikki like running around in the backyard and just like, you know, just doing dog stuff.
I'll have to check it
And
out.
it's heart
I'm not
wrenching.
watching it. Not watching it.
I'm
I
already
will
about
cry.
to start crying. Like, so, I mean, not to make this about me or anything, but I mean, so when I went to one of your shows when I was working at 7-Eleven in Tampa,
I remember that shit. I remember.
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
I
be
stayed.
back
I
at work.
almost didn't go to work that night, dude. So that was the first time I heard that song live, and my 2 basset hounds had actually passed away earlier, like a month or 2 before that. So, dude, that song hits so hard to me. I'm like trying not to be emotional about it, dude, but I love that song to death.
Especially because like Josh, every time we would play that song live, Josh goes, "Hey, you guys like dogs?
Yeah.
This song is a really important special dog that we lost last year." Like he says it just like that, like no warning, no cushion, just hey, dead
I
dog.
remember that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh man, so
Trying
that's
not
pretty brutal, dude. I'm sorry.
to- You're good, dog. Like, ah, you guys' music means a lot to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I appreciate that, dude.
Of course.
Anybody else have any questions for Tommy?
I think we picked his brain a pretty good amount.
Well, I got a
Like, 2
question.
seconds. We'll be right back.
I got a quick one.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Tommy, just real quick. If you could learn any instrument you don't know how to play, what would it be?
It would be the piano, hands down. Like
Fuck,
Awesome.
I know vaguely how to play the piano, but like if you can play the piano, you can play anything. Seriously, like if you know your way around a piano, you can figure out literally any instrument as long as you can hold on to it for a few minutes. And I envy that. I envy like the compositional elements of piano players because like it's so intricate and like my fingers are fat. Like
Hit me up, Tommy. I'll teach you the basics.
all right.
So I got a question for all of you. We know Tommy plays an instrument. Do you guys play instruments?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
oh,
I'm gonna go right off the bat and be like, nah.
no,
Eric?
I
So
oh man, should I mean, do I answer this honestly?
I know the answer, so go for it.
Yeah, so I dabbled a little bit with the music scene. I, for whatever reason, I thought I was going to be decent at it, and I wasn't. So I stuck to Guitar Hero. But I played a little. I played guitar for a while. Tried playing the bass. Gave the keyboard piano like a fair attempt, and then realized I would shut it off immediately because that didn't work. But when I was in high school, I was the beatboxer for the choir for all 3 years that I was in the choir. So that was what kind of came naturally to me. I realized I wasn't the best singer. I wasn't super talented at instruments, but that just kind of happened. I was inspired by all the people that were on Vine and Musically that were doing it. So I was just kind of like, okay, I'll just pick up a little drum and bass here and there. And then dubstep happened. And that's when it kind of exploded for me. And that's what's kind of continued it on ever since. But as far as like physical instruments, didn't have it.
Alex?
I play a few different instruments actually. I could play guitar, and well, with guitar comes bass, of course, just because they're, for the most part, they're similar instruments.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
Um,
always
I
say, like,
can
it's
also,
way harder to learn the guitar like initially, but pretty easy to learn bass. But at a certain point, it is really hard to get super good at the bass.
100%.
it
Like the
is.
learning curve there is like,
I dabble in ukulele because I own one. So, it's something fun to do. And I play piano as well.
Nice. Kyle? I
Dang.
know you said no, but is it just no or like
I mean, yeah, you guys know my background relatively. So, when I was in like fifth, going into sixth grade, I got my first guitar, and it's still the only guitar I've ever owned, which is my Washburn X series. And I played guitar for a while, never really got good at it. I mean, I could play a few songs, but that was that. Fell out of guitar, and years, and I mean years later, maybe 4 years ago, I picked up like playing 10 whistles and things like that. But outside of that, nah, not really. I'm just music's not my thing.
word?
Robbie.
Well, I mean, you guys know. I've been playing guitar since I was 11, and I'll be 24 next week. So do the math. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guitars and a bass. I also play the drums as well. And yeah, that's really it.
So, real
All right.
quickly, just kind of shoehorn some stuff in. You said your birthday's next week, Ravi?
Yeah.
mm,
I already know what I'm
Nice.
getting them.
Mine's actually tomorrow.
Well,
I will
happy early
be
birthday.
26.
Happy birthday.
Actually,
Happy
my
birthday.
birthday is next Thursday when we're recording, so let's do a fucking drinking episode.
So
dang,
you
I
are the
wish you could
17th,
do it
right?
while I was
Yeah.
here. Like,
Nice.
I mean, you can fucking come on again if you want.
Yeah.
But only one more.
yeah, everyone we get one shot.
I'm so ready.
Yikes.
Unless
That
somebody complains.
Derek
'em,
is
dude.
coming out.
It's gonna be great.
Well, anybody have any other music questions, music topics?
If you could learn to play any instrument, all of you guys, what would it be? Like anything.
Ooh. I have two. Can I answer with two?
Yeah.
I've dabbled in drums, but I want to learn to get good at drums. And the other one is saxophone.
Okay. Kind of off in a different direction. I would love to actually learn to play the mandolin.
Dude, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
My great grandpa was in a lot of like folk bands, and just kind of worked around playing a lot of different instruments. And I have one of the mandolins that he used to play.
Oh,
And I tried learning it, after I thought I was going to be a lead guitarist, but that didn't work out. So I just put it on the back burner, and it's been sitting for a while, and I really want to take the time to learn it.
yeah, dude, you
But-
totally could. Like mandolin is another instrument that's really easy to learn and really hard to get really good at. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you watch, it's basically just like a picked violin, and so
Yeah.
you play chords on it, which is pretty rad.
Yep, exactly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Violin
I
is
used to play violin, funny enough. Forgot about
what
that.
How about you, Kyle?
Times. If I really I mean, like I said, I'm not good at music, and it's just it wasn't my thing. Doesn't mean I don't have dreams. So if I want to get good or at least learn to play two instruments, one, and these are going to be really weird, obscure instruments. One would be the hurdy-gurdy. I think that'd be
dude, that's my
cool,
favorite
Okay.
instrument, dude.
right, dude?
Oh, it's so cool.
Bro, I would love to like learn how to play a hurdy-gurdy, and then also I would love to just be able to attempt to play a Native American drone flute. They just sound so freaking
Oh,
cool.
yeah. For sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Robbie, if you can learn one instrument or two or seven, what would they be?
Well, I mean, I guess this is an instrument. I would learn how to sing. My mom has one of the best voices when it comes to singing that I've ever heard in my life. And when I sing, I sound like a cat that's just been fucking ran over and like pissed on. Like it is awful.
I I
And
feel you, man.
I've
I
been
feel that.
looking up how to take singing lessons, and in my time off, I've been practicing singing, and to me, it doesn't sound good. But you know, from what I've come to realize, is you don't sound good to yourself.
Yeah,
Fair.
no, I hate the way my voice
I
sounds recorded too.
I need to find a coach or someone that will sit down, teach me the basics on how to sing, because I'd fucking love to do that. Fucking sounds fun, and I can't
Same.
do it. It
Same.
sucks, but I will do it one day.
Okay.
I mean, I just wish I
No.
wasn't tone deaf, to be honest.
I'm not tone deaf. I just don't know how to utilize my voice correctly.
I understand that entirely.
Mhm.
I mean, we all know I don't know how to
Yourself
utilize
doing
my
a lot of
voice.
stupid sounding exercises.
Yep, I've been
Hey,
doing like a zzz.
Tips on singing one time. Like he does all those crazy like runs, and that requires a pretty good degree of vocal control. I was like, how do you practice that like without just sounding really horrible? And one of the things he said, what you should do is while you're driving or whatever, just go like this. As fast as you can, because doing that motion is like how you learn to control your
Yeah.
Weird.
chords. And, I've done that for like 25 minutes at a time, just like sitting in my car on my way home from somewhere, just
Yep. It also helps open everything up. I mean, even as redundant as just vibrating your lips back and forth or just like humming in the car, anything to help like get your vocal cords going will massively improve the performance for sure.
You should warm up no matter what the hell you do. You should warm. I get on the guys about this a lot because every time that we play a show, I spend like the 20 minutes before our set, like with my headphones in, playing through the album, just to
Whoa.
like myself up so that I'm not like crunchy up there.
Yeah,
And no one else warms up, and it gets on my nerves so bad.
I'm guilty of that.
Especially vocalists. Like you can hurt yourself physically if you don't warm up properly, especially like heavy vocalists. Like you can really screw up your lungs or your vocal cords. So
Interesting.
always warm up. Always.
Hmm.
Yep.
I warm up to shit.
I mean, technically, I do too. I have my warm up right here.
Coffee, alcohol, nicotine, all three of those will
That's my
Just
breakfast
right
right
through.
there, dude. Just coffee, alcohol, and nicotine.
Yeah, and if you need to course correct, just eat some ramen.
Or a block
Why you
of
gotta call me
cheese.
out like that? Come on now.
Dude, I have had 2 cups of freaking cup noodles a day for the last 3 days.
Can confirm, I have witnessed it.
Yeah, you watched me. It's not a good existence. It doesn't feel good.
says you.
Nope. I went through my fair share of ramen phases and oh boy.
Ramen
Oh,
is
boy.
good.
I got these spicy chicken flavored ramens, and they like doubled.
Those are so good.
They doubled the amount of sodium powder in them. So like
Now it's only
my
1,200.
nose, I ate them. I had never tried them before, and as like so dumb, it was only $4.88 for a 12-pack of them at Walgreens or at Walmart the other day. So
Staple
Oh,
food,
yeah.
gotta love it.
I have to
Yep.
eat this, but I don't want it.
I'm too poor.
Gotta
I need-
switch it up. Switch it up and eat it raw.
Get that nasty
don't even
lime
cook it.
shrimp ramen. Eh.
Ugh.
I
I
would-
actually like that one.
Of course
That's
you
the
do.
problem.
I don't remember
Yeah,
the last
of
time
course
I
I do.
had ramen.
There's too
to
much
be
lime
honest.
in it.
Shrimp, dude, that I would straight up die.
How does it feel to be
Also
wrong,
true.
Eric?
Forgot
It's
about that.
ramen. It's all good.
Wait,
I
are you
legitimately cannot think of one single flavor of ramen, whether it's been in a cup or in a packet, that I didn't like.
one of those people that likes the lime cucumber Gatorade?
It's not terrible.
Okay.
Oh my
So
God,
Eric's
bro,
the
that
type of
shit's
person to
bad.
like eat a pile of shit if
What?
it has lime on it.
Well, I mean,
Apparently,
I do remember one time someone telling me about you drinking a ranch flavored soda.
Hi, I bought it for him. It was me. Hello, how
That-
are you?
That
Wow.
Jones brand soda.
And I
Yeah,
still give it a solid 6 out of 10.
they had like
Definitely
a
not the
John
worst one I've
Lemon,
had.
You nasty.
John Lemonade.
Okay, but
You
but
know.
for the viewers or listeners that don't know, I'm from the
Visitors.
Midwest, so
about to say it.
we all know that ranch is the nectar of the gods.
You
And-
hail from the Hidden Valley.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know the Northern Pike.
Robbie and I were out one day, and we just happened to walk into a store that had ranch flavored pop, and Robbie
Ranch
What?
basically
What?
You're in Florida.
bought it for me.
That sounds like Target.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, so
It's just like in Atlanta,
Robbie got
everything-
it for me, and I drank it on the spot, and it was not the worst experience I've had with beverages.
That's depressing.
I mean, my girlfriend just drinks ranch, so like,
That's even
I feel
more
like-
depressing.
Yeah, we all do,
you know,
I feel like that's totally
You
different.
people.
but we all do. That's normal.
Who
It's just a
is
thing.
we all? You Midwesterners, right?
Oh,
yeah,
We all
but don't
drink
you know?
ranch.
Because ranch is disgusting.
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Ranch
it
is
kinda
not
is.
disgusting.
Ranch is
I mean-
fucking horrible, dude.
I mean,
As-
let's all get it
controversial-
straight right now. Ranch is for children. If you're a grown up, you eat blue cheese.
blue cheese is mold.
Oh, blue cheese is
I know it
good,
is.
too.
It's good mold.
Whoa.
True.
For as controversial as it might be, my favorite sauce for anything is Chick-fil-A's avocado lime ranch dressing.
You know what? I can't even disagree with you. It's
Mm.
good.
I've
It's
never
a
had
good
that.
sauce, and I
It's a
haven't found
solid-
anywhere else that has anything even close to it, except Chili's. Chili's, when you get those dipper things, the little Southwestern egg rolls, they come with an avocado.
Oh,
That's what
No,
that
got
is.
you.
Chick-fil-A
Can
avocado.
we backpedal just a second? Because I'm still kind of mind blown by the avocado lime thing.
Yeah,
Like,
So
What?
if you do go to Chili's, which knowing that you live with I said Chili's. If you do go to Chick-fil-A, knowing that you live with
Uh-huh.
Manny, you're probably not going to go to Chick-fil-A. But if you go to Chick-fil-A, definitely get as many of packets as they are allowed to give you.
I'm only allowed to give you like
'Cause it is
2 depending on size of
best
your order.
sauce.
I will
Ranch
buy them if I need to. That's not the question. I just need to know where to get it.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Cool.
It's
I,
a
So we'll hear about that adventure next week.
salad.
I think the best sauce you can get is the creamy jalapeno sauce from Taco Bell. That's the stuff they put on the quesadillas.
Mm-mm.
That's what that
Oh,
is?
Yes,
Mm-mm.
that sauce is killer.
Nope, they have a
Yeah,
better one.
You can order a side of that. You could just ask for a cup of that. They will just give it to you for like
They
I
20
have a
love
better
that.
one, and it's the avocado ranch. Trust me, if you like avocados and you like ranch, you're gonna love it. It's
Okay.
terrific.
Let me backpedal on what I'm talking about when I hate ranch. I'm kind of exaggerating. If I had to choose between shit and ranch, I would choose shit. But but if there is ranch in front of me and I eat it not knowing it's ranch and thinking it's something else, that's okay. I'm not going to throw up. I'm not going to hate it.
So
But
you're
if-
a fucking poser, is what you're
Yes.
saying.
So if I have the choice, I don't have a bottle of ranch in my house. Like, I'll say that right now. I have blue cheese, honey mustard, zesty Italian, and that's it. No fucking
Blue cheese-
ranch.
I don't care what anybody says. Blue cheese and ranch are almost the same damn thing.
No,
Blue
they're
cheese
not.
is mold and it's good, and I like it because it's better than ranch. It has more
And
flavor.
it's even better on wings.
Yeah, I prefer
True.
blue cheese on buffalo wings over
Bro, here's my
ranch.
thing.
Y'all
So-
are just disappointing me.
Yo, no. So here's my whole thing. Why I like blue cheese more than I like ranch.
Sound like my mother.
Blue
Eric.
cheese, and the only reason I like the only way I have my blue cheese is like that really chunky blue cheese. Given I'm not
Mm.
supposed to eat it, but I do anyways. Screw you, lactose. Anyways, dude, it's the texture. Like the ranch is just too creamy.
Oh,
Blue
you
cheese has
mean
like it has those chunks.
blue
It gives you something to gnaw on.
the texture of old boogers. That's what draws you to blue cheese.
Yes, I like
Absolutely,
that
dude.
curdled milk in my ranch, boy.
Nah, man, no way.
Yo, the booger texture is my favorite. It even tastes better than ranch.
Oh, can y'all
Bruh.
stop
I'd rather
saying
eat
it like
boogers than
that?
eat ranch.
That's disgusting.
Bruh, do you guys not eat oysters on the reg?
Bro, oysters are fucking
Oh, dude.
amazing. How many
Bro,
can't
you don't
have
like those
oysters for
snot
one?
shells?
That literally
I-
is a shell full of snot. That is
Yeah.
what you're. Yeah,
I
It's
love
a,
it.
bro.
Tasty.
It is
Put a
the
little
mucus
cocktail
of the
sauce on there
gods.
and just
Yeah.
Fun fact: you guys have heard the term "mother of pearl," right?
Yes.
yeah.
The reason it's called mother of pearl is because it comes from oysters.
You said cum.
I like how that's the fucking takeaway.
Take those
He said
oysters.
cum.
He's not
I mean,
wrong.
it's just come in a shell.
Oh,
I mean, it
Is that
doesn't
the
taste
sequel
like
to
it though.
Ghost in the Shell?
It is.
You've heard of
no,
Motherfucker
not
in a
really. I
Shell?
cannot eat oysters. It makes me sick.
Okay, oysters are good if you slap them on a saltine. If you grill them, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, fuck it, slap it on a
Mm.
saltine, slap some hot sauce on it, or a
Mm.
little
Yep.
bit of butter. Boy.
Yep. That is the only way I can eat it. Like, I have
God,
family
you-
that can eat it straight off the straight from the shell, and I'm just like,
I would not eat oysters even if I wasn't deathly allergic to shellfish. I would not eat oysters.
oh yeah, I always forget that.
Me too. I offered him a crab rangoon at work one time, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Oh man,
Oops.
Oh no.
I was like, "Is it real crab?" And he was like, "I don't know."
Yeah, we had to call the Chinese place, and she couldn't give him a solid answer for like a minute.
She was
Well,
like, "I don't know." I was like, "Okay, never mind."
oh gosh.
Oh, so I told a story on the show last week that got corrupted about the time Eric and I went to Wendy's,
Oh boy.
and can you guys just act like you haven't heard it before, so it's funny?
Is this?
Sure.
Oh
All right,
man.
so
I didn't know it-
clear my throat a little bit. Eric and
Oh,
I made a
God.
bet. We were playing pool. Naturally, I whipped his ass in pool. Just saying. So the bet was
Nah.
loser buys dinner. Okay. So we roll up to Wendy's, probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. One of us wasn't. Eric wasn't sober. I was perfectly sober because I was driving. We
Calls
order
him
the
out.
food. Eric orders his drink with no ice usually anywhere he goes because he doesn't like the ice. He waters it down. Blah
It's
blah
a
blah.
Midwestern thing.
Can't stand it.
Yeah, he'd rather have ranch cubes in there instead of actual ice cubes.
Get
So
more
Yeah.
soda because it's
he-
cold already.
he orders the soda boneless. So we're in the Wendy's drive-thru, and he goes, "And boneless mellow yellow." Lady just went, "Okay." We roll up to the window. We get our food. He grabs. I'm driving because I'm sober. I grab the drink, hand it to him. He shakes it and goes, "Man, this has bones in it." And she looks him like dead in the eye with like, you ever see like a Walmart employee like really late at night? They just have that look of like death and despair on their face. That was
Yeah.
her, but like working in a Wendy's drive-thru, looking like she wanted to blow her fucking brains out. So she hands Eric hands me the drink. I hand it back to her. She goes, "What?" He said, "It's got bones in it." I was like, "Bro, they're gonna spit in your fucking drink." So she dumps out the ice, fills it up again, and he goes, "Yay, no bones!" I sped out of that parking lot so
I
fucking
was
fast.
so genuinely excited.
I thought I was gonna get shot or something, dude. I'm like, they're gonna spit in the food. I made sure we got the food first before he said that too. I was like, I don't want any spit in my bacon cheeseburger, bro. Like, what the fuck?
But
I've never seen,
we gotta take the drink and the food back.
I've never
Why
seen
do
a
you have to-
lady look so pissed off before though. She was big mad, like really fucking pissed. Like oh god, dumb
So
bitch.
how that came about, if I'm not mistaken, is you and I were somewhere, Robbie, I
Yes,
think.
I know exactly.
You
what
and I
you
were somewhere getting food at one point, and we had some kind of discussion about like boneless wings, and that just spiraled
because the boneless
into
pizza
something
meme.
totally different.
You tell me
yeah.
about boneless water first.
Yes. So for some reason, my brain just decided that any drink that has ice in it is just bones. Like ice is just bones now. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why my brain thought that was the best idea, but it's the best idea that I had. And everywhere that I go and everywhere that I went, just for whatever reason, I would order every drink boneless. And it's just been a problematic trend that I can't stop.
This drink has bones in it t-shirt coming soon.
Oh,
And it's just a
God.
mellow yellow from Wendy's. That's what you got. You got a fucking mellow
Mellow
yellow.
yellow.
Boneless.
Boneless.
Yep.
We can make it happen. We
No,
have
we
the
can't.
technology.
Not with the Mellow Yellow on there though. We're gonna have to do like
Yeah.
Milo Yilo or some dumb shit.
Milo
Wait-
Yilo.
Wait till we
Milo
play
Yilo.
TKO again in the Jackbox
Milo.
Party Pack.
Oh, that'd be
Dude,
fun.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
We should do that
I
again
don't know
after
if you
this.
guys are
We
big into
should, that was fun.
podcasts or anything, but one of the creators from Jackbox does a podcast called I just said I don't know if you guys are into podcasts at all.
No, I'm not. What's up?
No, not at
While on
all.
the podcast.
I don't have
Ah,
Painkiller already.
it just
Episode
sounds
521.
I always
right
have
up
to preface myself because like there are podcast people and there are like what's a podcast people. So one of the guys from Jackbox, one of the devs, has a podcast called Hello from the Magic Tavern, and it is bonkers funny. It's an improv podcast. So if you don't like improv comedy, you're probably not gonna like it. But
Oh,
Dude, it's so good though.
that sounds awesome.
It's so good.
That's
Bro,
my
I'll
cup
never
of tea
forget
right
our
there.
D&D
I was
mini
just going to say,
campaign.
Alex, that's right up your alley.
yeah, so it's called Hello from the Magic Tavern, and they have like this guy Arnie Niekamp. He was the one that worked on Jackbox, and I think that some of the other guys did as well. But he falls through a dimensional portal behind a Burger King in Chicago,
here. Fuck.
and ends up in this
Oh,
fantastical land where
I've
his
heard
only
this.
two friends are a shitty wizard who doesn't know that he's shitty, and a talking badger.
And he has to go on a
Like,
quest.
they just like he has his podcasting equipment, and somehow he can still get a Wi-Fi signal through the dimensional rift from the Burger King. So he uploads this podcast of him interviewing people inside of this tavern inside this
Yeah.
magic, and it's brilliant. It's so funny.
It is
I've started
fantastic.
this one. I've actually started this
Oh,
one.
dude.
That podcast, like I listen to more podcasts than I do music on a regular basis every day. So
That's
like that
understandable.
spiraled me into like podcast oblivion after listening to that show for the first time.
Oh yeah. Dude, when I was working at 7-Eleven, I started listening to it again. I think in the entirety of the time I worked there, I think I went through 300 episodes or 200 episodes or something.
They've been doing it for a long time now.
Yeah, dude. I'm so far behind.
New topic?
New topic. Let's
Bend
go.
the wheel, Bobbert.
Motherfucking Cyberpunk came out.
Giggity.
Oh yeah.
I just
Oh.
want to say, first of all, I'm not on this hype train. You guys have fun with your conversation.
So I would also like to put out a big disclaimer. I didn't pay for the game. Steam's library sharing function, absolute clutch. But yeah,
Who
I
sharing
finally.
Who are you sharing from?
No one you know.
Eric shares from like 9 different people.
These
do.
are not the droids you are
I
looking for.
used to do the same thing. I was hooked up
Yeah.
to Robbie's and Eric's and yours,
Mhm.
Kyle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I hadn't bought a PC game in like a couple years.
Yeah. Well, I share with 4 other people, and I have a separate Steam account. But one of the people that I share with bought Cyberpunk, so I was like, I guess I get a free copy. But for those of you that know me, you guys know that I'm on kind of a late night sleep schedule anyways. So when they're offline, I'm online. So it works
works
out.
out.
Symbiotic relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We sure
but
it's
yeah,
not
Cyberpunk.
parasitic?
It might be. But Cyberpunk, dear God, it's a beautiful game. And I don't want to talk about spoilers or anything because I'm
I know.
not super far into it. I
I am.
legitimately
Well, I'm not.
I legitimately spent at least 20 minutes designing my character
Same Z.
because there's just
Yep.
there's so much.
Dude, it's
So how
such
did
a
you
good
cute?
creator.
The
What?
fact that you get to choose the penis.
Dude, the fan.
No,
Vagina. Like
bro, you get to choose what your pubic hair looks like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which,
I wanted mohawks.
yeah.
You made a landing strip.
Yeah. No. I actually meant sideburns. But-
Sideburns.
So you wanted burnout,
Mohawks on the
tire
side of your
burnouts?
head.
Sideburns does sound like a real dick move.
Oh my god.
That's a real
Well
knee
done.
slapper there.
Well done.
You could
Well
not
done.
have gone through with inviting me on the show without expecting it.
But
Come
as far as like general like graphics of the game, like absolutely well done. My computer is not necessarily the strongest by any means, and it holds up to AAA titles like mostly, but just like how much detail they put into this game is bonkers.
Bro,
Like
I should have
I
gotten
wasn't expecting it.
lost. I've gotten
Yeah.
lost in
you
Night
gotta,
City.
You gotta expect it after
Yeah.
what, almost a year's worth of delays. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Not just that, but I
I'm-
mean, we saw how the trailers
I would
looked.
rather them just delay it. Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
so hyped on the game that I was gonna be upset that the release date was so far.
Right.
I know. I wanted them to give the game as perfect as possible.
Streamers play because like
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I almost never play games right when they come out because
fair.
I don't have as much time as I wish I did to play video games anymore.
Understandable.
You know, I would definitely rather, like, even if it was a game I was waiting forever for, like Kingdom Hearts 3 when that came out and ended up being
Yep.
completely useless and the worst game in the franchise. But
Bro, you know I
like-
still haven't finished it.
really, I mean, it's worth.
I
finishing.
restarted my entire campaign.
Yeah, like I would rather have had them wait a year to release
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts 3 than release what they actually put out, which was
So-
too short and really,
Right.
really
So,
easy.
Tommy, while we're on the topic of Kingdom Hearts, I need to ask you a question that I don't think I asked you when it came out, when I was playing through it originally. Did Kingdom Hearts 3 seem cringier than the others?
Oh no,
like the
super
dialogue?
cringy. Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Dude, it just,
I looked it up because I was like, why because of Donald and Goofy's voices. They did it
Gorsh.
to appeal to a younger
Gorsh.
crowd, to people who had never played the original
Fair.
like first two games.
Okay.
So like I was like, why does the voice act? I literally searched on Google, why does the Kingdom Hearts 3 voice acting sound like that?
Yeah. Like just the way they displayed emotion, everything from Sora and everyone. I'm just like, why is this so bad?
That didn't really bother me that much, but we're not talking about
Oh,
Hearts. We're talking about Cyberpunk, which
yeah. I just want to draw off on there for a
say
second.
about because I haven't played it yet.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's so for those that don't know, it's like Skyrim in the future, and everything is heavily like technology based. So like within the first minute of the game, you can see how kind of like, you know, neon everything is, and like everybody's got their tech implants, and like it's blatantly obvious where this future kind of where they wanted that path to go.
You may
Um,
say it's the
I
cyberpunk
mean-
aesthetic.
Well,
What?
yeah, but Alex, not everybody's as big brain as you. Like, not a lot of people know what cyberpunk is. Like, if you think
Fair.
cyberpunk, you think, you know, a ska band wearing nothing but 20 Apple Watches. Like, not
Fair.
everybody knows what cyberpunk is. So, you know, you have kind of that like 80s, 90s, like leather jackets and like studs or whatever, but it's all tech. So, the outfits and like the vibe that they chose for everybody, it's really interesting. But just to see how they went in that direction, because you know when most people think of the like distant future or whatever, they think of like the Jetsons, flying
Mhm.
cars, and you know everything's on like a digital pop-up screen. But it's like modern day life, just you know more advanced, I guess, tech wise. But
It is like for the 80s, it's like how in
Yeah.
Fallout, you know, in Fallout before the bombs fell, how everything was super atomic age,
Yeah.
like
It was like,
futuristic but stuck in the 50s.
yeah,
Cyberpunk is that for the 80s,
Mhm.
where
pretty much. That's a really good way to put it.
neon and all of the colors and the fashion that they have, and like the way that they design the cars and the buildings and the logos for everything is super duper 80s, but it's all on like hyper futuristic, not
exactly.
post-apocalyptic, but like, you know, nearing
Dystopian.
prior.
In dystopian, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I mean, me personally, as I've been playing through it, I would have to say the gameplay is it reminds me, and I don't know, so you guys might not agree with me, but it reminds me so much of Borderlands, like the gunplay and everything. It's
It
like
does.
More or less.
Borderlands mixed with GTA, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just loving it. So far, at least, like I'm still getting used to the gunplay a little bit. It's a little weird, it's a little wonky, but there's some references I've come across in the game that
Yeah.
just references of
See the magazine at the very beginning?
the one with
Well,
the
I guess,
car.
I guess it's probably different depending on which class you
Yeah.
chose.
I went
Yeah.
the
Street Kid?
yeah, Street Kid.
That's what I did too.
So, it's a I don't know if it's a spoiler. I don't
I
think
mean,
so. It's an Easter egg.
Oh,
It's an Easter egg, but it's not a spoiler, I guess.
yeah.
But you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do that to you guys.
Just
Boy.
just text it to me later.
Yeah.
will say it is if you start in the corpo line, make sure you look in the drawer of your desk, and that's all I'm going to give you.
I started Corpo, but I didn't. You can tell me.
You can
I
make a new
mean, it's
character.
like the first 2 minutes of the game. What are you spoiling?
Yeah,
all right,
That's the best of the game.
all right. I've been peer pressured into spoiling Cyberpunk for everyone. So when you open the drawer in the desk, there is like this neuro enhancer drug, and there is another item that you can grab out of there, and underneath those two items on the inside of the drawer is a magazine with Ciri from The Witcher 3 on the cover of the magazine, like
Well
inside
played.
the drawer, just as like this, like a tabloid magazine, and
Nice.
everybody was like, "Whoa, what?" Because I know that there's been like some speculation as to whether or not Ciri's in the game, which I don't know because I haven't seen far enough
Yeah.
into it.
Yep.
But one thing we
Yeah.
all know is Keanu Reeves is in the game.
Yeah,
He's breathtaking.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, even though I'm not very far in the game. So essentially, right after you meet Keanu Reeves, you get offered a red pill and a blue pill.
Wait,
At least on the playthrough I went on.
weird, because I didn't get that option.
See, it's different
That's
for
cool.
everybody.
That's
But it was-
cool.
I don't know if it was intentional, mind you.
Yep.
But I
mean-
was
Mhm.
given a
That-
red pill and a blue pill.
Yeah, that was one
I
of the
like
things I
that.
was going to touch on as well, is the fact that nearly everything is dialogue based. So
Yes.
it's not like you have, go this way or this way, because with the storyline that I picked, and again, avoiding talking about anything specific, just as vague as possible, but there are quick actions as well,
Yep.
which I didn't know about until like I've been fairly sheltered from this game, but I didn't know that there were quick dialogue options. Like you had maybe a second and a half to
Yep.
press a button and you get that like special option. Like who thinks of things like that? But you can
I
see
mean-
how dramatic the conversation changes when you choose those options, because someone can
Yeah.
look at you and be like calm and collective, you snapping in that dialogue and they're like, what the fuck did you say to me in that tone of voice? Like immediately. And you go into that fight or flight moment, and like job well done on their part.
Absolutely.
I mean,
From
what
definitely
I-
when it comes to the dialogue in this game, it does take him back to like the Telltale games.
Mm-hmm.
And that is amazing. Like Tales from the Borderlands and all those fantastic games.
dude, I miss those freaking Telltale games.
Dude, I
Yeah.
hate that they went out of
Batman one's the
business.
best.
Hated on them, but like
It was
I don't know if
good.
you guys played the Telltale Batman series. I
It was good.
loved that shit.
Best
It
It
ever.
was
so-
good.
If Telltale had come a little bit later on, because they offered it as a mobile app, right? So like the
Yeah.
games you could play on mobile. If they had come a little bit later on to where mobile gaming was a little bit further along when they started
Yep.
releasing titles and then just released them on mobile, they would have done so much better.
Oh, definitely, dude.
Because there
really-
wasn't like a market necessarily for what they were doing until, after they had pretty much dismantled the company.
Pretty much. I mean, the biggest thing about Telltale, I have to say, is it's something we didn't know we wanted until they delivered it to us. and now
Right.
everyone misses it so much. I mean, because honestly, like for me, my favorite Telltale game still is Wolf Among Us, and I wish I would have gotten a season 2, but it never did, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
But man, Alex, I just want to throw that thing I found earlier so badly in here, because it's a side mission thing, and it's a very there's like
No,
it's
no
part of.
content. We can't give out any
Don't do
content.
it. Don't
Don't
do
do
it.
it.
Ah, man, I want
Don't
to
do
because
it.
it's part of this
Don't do
long ass
it.
chain you have to do. Oh, you don't
Don't
have
do
to do
it.
it. It's a segment of said chain. That's all
Nope.
I'm gonna
Nope.
leave it
Nope.
at.
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
No, I'm.
But you're gonna love
I'm.
it.
Your spoiler privileges have been revoked.
You're gonna love it. It's gonna be great when you get to it, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is what he was talking about." Because I gave you hints earlier, Alex. I gave you the hints, and you were very close.
I think I do know what you're kind of referring to.
You probably do, and I'm gonna say the last thing I'm gonna say is the voice acting is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, the game is great. I mean, I it took me like 6 hours just to get to the title card for the game.
yeah, dude. I
It's
didn't get to the
it's
talk card till this morning.
yeah, it's massive.
Yep.
It's This game is gonna take so
Yeah.
many hours just
And
just
So-
for the regular story.
Did you
so
guys?
it's
Did you
estimate.
guys meet Gary the Prophet yet?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
He's a crazy guy talking about like you pass him in the street, he's in an alley.
Yes,
Oh, I
I've
know who you're
seen
talking
him.
about.
How the sons and daughters of the next
Yep.
generation will learn to hate Chrome and like how cybernetic enhancements are of the devil. That
Witness
voice
me
actor-
shining in chrome.
Yeah, the voice actor and the character model is Co-Carnage from Twitch. Like they
Wait,
put him in
really?
the game. And he like
Huh.
nobody knew what his character was going to be. All he had shared was that he had done voice acting for the bit, and
Wow.
that they had put a character model of him in the game. They like nobody knew what it was, and then he turns out to be like this crazy doomsday cultist. Like it's so funny.
That's pretty dope.
So
That is super
he has
dope.
a really long string of dialogue if you're willing to sit there and listen to him talk the whole
I
way
didn't
through
listen
it.
to all
Like,
of it.
right
Awesome.
before you get to the first Ripper doc.
Yeah.
I
That
just
is
I just
really, really
recall him from like one of the cutscenes where he was driving and I passed by him. So I didn't get a chance to actually go up to him yet.
Yeah, I walked past him when I was going to the Ripper dock. I just didn't. I was like, this is just some random dude. Okay, I don't care. Move it along.
Yeah, no, that's Co-Carnage. He
That
he
is
was at
super cool.
91,000 viewers today or yesterday on his on the first day of streaming for it. Because I
Yeah.
think he had early access at like 8 a.m. yesterday.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure he did.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
mean,
he was in way before anybody. Like,
Oh, yeah.
well, not before anybody, but like he had the key from CD Projekt Red to play it
Yeah.
early.
So here's a weird fun fact about me. This is the first CD Projekt Red game I've actually liked enough to sit down and play for more than 10 minutes because I hated all the Witcher games. I'll put it
See,
out there.
I really
Really?
hated The Witcher 3. I didn't play Witcher 1 and 2, but I hated The Witcher 3 the first time that I tried to play it because of Geralt's voice acting.
Yeah.
Because he
That's
sounds like
fair.
edgelord.
Yeah.
When I went back and tried to play it again, after understanding a little bit more about why he sounds like such an edgelord and that it's kind of like written into the lore of The Witcher,
Yeah.
that like justified it enough that I was willing to enjoy the game, and it is a really, really solid game.
I mean, as much as I love fantasy games and swinging around big swords and things like that, just the Witcher series was not for me. I did not like it. And
Understandable.
as much as I love a narrative driven game too, it surprised me that I could only sit there and play it for I think I got to the Griffin and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this game. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
Crucify me if you want. I feel that way about Skyrim.
That's understandable,
I
dude.
fucking hate
mean,
Skyrim. I fucking hate it so much.
I don't hate it. I don't
so
hate it by any means.
boring.
Single played Skyrim. I've made it to like level 6 and then been too bored to continue.
Yeah, it's boring as shit.
tell you when it happens. It happens. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play Skyrim. I'm finally gonna go all the way through Skyrim. I get to that part where you have to go and meet the graybeard dudes in the top of that mountain. You have
Yeah.
to walk yourself all the
Pain
way
in
out,
the ass.
That's
and
exactly where
that
I stopped.
first stupidly long walk with no other towns in between it.
Yep.
Like that's where I quit playing at a certain point. I'm like, I don't really want to go and explore all the side content in between here and where I'm going.
Yeah.
But if I don't, there's literally nothing else to do. And
I
so
liked
that's when I just
Oblivion. It was all right.
So I mean, my thing with Skyrim is I have dumped hundreds of hours in the game between Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, and PC. Um, really, I spend more time putting mods in the game than I do actually
that's what
playing it.
ruined it for me for
Yep.
playing Fallout on my
Oh,
PC is
man.
I modded it
Boring
too
as
bad.
well.
Yeah. See, anytime one of those games come out, I do a purist run first, just do all the story, and then I will mod the crap out of it and do all the side
Absolutely.
stuff so I can have crazy weapons and
Now you're talking my
whatever
language.
else.
Especially like command prompt mods and
Oh, yep,
like
Sassy
the
Jim.
existence of command prompt on PC has ruined some video games for me.
Oh
Like I can't
yeah.
play Fallout, I can't play Skyrim. I don't know. Is there a command prompt in Prey?
I'm not
No,
sure.
but there are workarounds.
Yeah, there
Well,
definitely
yeah,
are.
there
There's
are
mods for the
workarounds,
game
but,
pretty
like,
See,
sure.
not
that's getting into my territory where you do a lot of things you're not supposed to. But
'cause
Yeah,
I feel
where
like
you just
mods
obliterate
on
the game.
really fun.
So
That was the game.
speaking of games, have you guys been seeing the Pokemon TCG blowing up recently?
Yep.
So
I've
I don't
noticed
understand it.
these are selling Pokemon cards
yeah,
now.
I've been
Yeah,
into it
that's the
for a
top
while, so
thing.
I've been following it. But if you guys don't know who Soda Poppin is, he is arguably the biggest streamer on Twitch. Just holy fuck, so much fucking money. He did a Pokemon box opening today. And I don't know if it was a first edition box or what it was, but it was, I think he paid like $10,000-$20,000 maybe for the box. And
I think those boxes are going for like 150,000.
it depends what you buy, really. And like, there's a Neo Genesis box Mizkif's gonna open up that was 70 grand. That's on Sunday. But anyway, Soda Poppin opened this box today, and he ruined every single card from every single pack. He had a wheel that he spun. He would burn them. He would you put them on a dartboard to throw darts at them. He'd soak them in lube. He'd soak them in water. He'd throw them in dirt. And if he didn't like the card, he just fucking ripped it up. And then he took a deck of cards, did the whole like thing like that, bent them all, and like that, showed everything completely. He had, I think, 100,000 viewers just pissed off at him. And
because he could.
because he can. He has money.
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck. But,
what a
you know, he's a dick, yeah, but he has money. That's the problem. He spent 20 grand on that box, let's say. He could have
That's a
made
drop in the
60
bucket.
grand off of those cards because some of them looked like they were PSA grade 10, like a Dark Charizard. Shit's fucking expensive. That can go for a couple $1,000s. Didn't give a fuck. I think he drew like 3 or 4 of them.
A bit more expensive because now there's one less in the world.
Yep. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, if anything, he up value a little bit.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there were some cards he just, oh okay, rip it up right there. Everyone's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
whole thing about the Pokemon stuff going on right now is I honestly think it's the dumbest thing ever. I hate it so much.
Pokeball tattoo.
Yep.
I don't know. I got really into a CCG on my phone for a while recently.
which
I don't know
one?
if you guys have played Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
It's a
The
good
made by
one.
Riot. That card game, that is my favorite like card game mechanic system that I have ever seen. Just the way that like everything interacts. If you like to play CCGs, well, okay, yeah, Magic the Gathering. I played Magic for forever.
Yeah.
And I think that Legends is a better rule system.
Magic is kind of fucky right now.
Why?
It's always been fucky.
I never got into the card game hype. Like I I think I was still in like 3rd grade when I had Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
Yeah.
and it was popular for like maybe 3 months in the schools that I was in,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it.
Yeah.
And I either sold them at a garage sale or did something with them, but I just fell off the hype and fell out of it after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I played a bunch of card games. I mean, I played Pokemon. Back in the day, I played Yu-Gi-Oh. I played Magic. Oh God. What was it called? There's one really stupid one. I still have my deck. I
Hearthstone?
have like 2 decks for it. What?
Was it Hearthstone?
No, but I did play Hearthstone. I actually still play Hearthstone a little bit, like very
See,
casually.
you should try Runeterra. If you like
I
Hearthstone,
will.
they're gonna play Runeterra for a couple of rounds and be like, "What the fuck is happening here?" Because the mechanics, you can't play it in real life.
Yeah.
It interacts with your deck in such a way that it would not be physically possible to play in real life effectively.
You know, I'm about to say one of the nerdiest things ever. Before Hearthstone was even a thing, I played the IRL WoW CCG. I
I did as
played it.
well. I
That
still
was
have those
awesome.
cards
I
somewhere.
wish I still had my cards.
TCG, like the old school Dragon Ball
Yes.
Z.
Yeah,
Had some.
dog.
We had those. My brother got really into the dot hack card game.
I
They had a
remember
dot
that.
hack
I'd
card
say.
game?
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude,
I didn't
cool
know
too.
that.
The card design was super cool. I'm sure that you could probably still find it somewhere, but
More than
Probably.
likely.
the system was totally different than anything else I had played.
Word. Wow. But yeah, I
Hmm.
quickly grew out of card games and got more into traditional like tabletop games,
Yeah,
board games, and then
I feel
still
you.
card games, but things like Munchkin and whatnot,
Not
Boss Monster.
dueling games.
What's up?
Not like dueling games.
Yeah, yeah,
You can't
definitely not
pay to win dueling games or like tabletop games.
yeah, I got out of the TCG games and I definitely went more towards the casual tabletop games like Munchkin and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Which I actually got.
I
I
don't
was
know what
able to find a
happened to
cheap
all
version
of
of
our
Boss Monster when I was out of town. That made me happy.
Oh, you mean your temporary breakup from the podcast?
Yes, where I was in lockdown in a whole nother state.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still your fault. So
How?
you were
It's
the
all
one
your
that
fault.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You chose to go somewhere.
and so did you.
What Tommy said.
Yeah.
Yeah, look what happened to you, Alex.
Yeah, yeah,
You got COVID,
But I
bitch.
came back. I came
yeah.
back.
True.
Still had COVID though.
You
I
came
didn't
back
get
in
COVID.
time.
Eric,
I did.
this is a little bit of a personal call out. Do you know what happened to all of our Munchkin cards? Because they were
Wait.
at Ryan's when you moved.
I have a bunch of Munchkin cards somewhere.
I'm gonna be honest. He probably still has them.
Well,
He
I mean,
probably still has them. I mean, he still has my longboard, so
Whoa,
he's probably still got all those games.
dang, bro.
and he still
I
has
want
all
to
of
get
our.
together to have a tabletop night again.
Well, we can't do that now.
Well, I mean, eventually we will be able to.
Someday.
Eventually.
Yeah, I'm just saying when we can.
Do you guys want to call it?
I tried to play D&D with James's group, but they had like 9 people in the group.
Oof, no, those are
Yeah.
toxic,
Time
dude.
when we were in the apartment, our
Yeah.
roommates just moved in, and so everyone was on the Wi-Fi, and my Discord would not
Yeah.
connect properly for the life of me. There were so many devices on the network that there just wasn't room for me to have voice chat. And
Yeah.
so that
Right.
with 7 people shouting over each other plus James, like it was a lot. It was really, really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, those are no fun. I don't enjoy them. I feel like it's just it takes too much time to get through everyone's turn, then everyone wants to do something different. It's too hard to get a group that big to cooperate, in my opinion. I say, you stick with 5 or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my rule
I
of
mean, I
thumb.
wouldn't run a game for more than 4 people at this point.
Yeah,
Like
no, I definitely feel
even
that.
in person, like I wouldn't run a game for more than 4 people because everything just takes too damn long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes too damn long.
Mm-hmm.
Have more than 4 PCs.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
and maybe you got to scale them a little bit higher and give them a little bit better magic items when they get to big bad because there's only 4 of them. But
Oh yeah,
Right.
definitely. If anything, I
again,
really like doing mini campaigns now, like the ones that you just bust out in like a day or two. Those are a
yeah,
lot of fun.
I went and
Uh,
bought the 5th edition like Stranger Things box that came with
oh,
little
word.
minis. And I've never been able to actually run that adventure. Like I bought it thinking that I was going to be able to run it, and then never ran it because that was
Dude,
when we had switched from running Pathfinder to running 5th edition,
mm,
and I wanted to use that as like the transition so that everybody knew what was going on. But
that sucks, dude. That's no bueno. Um, Outside of that, I had some slight news before we started recording about the new BioShock possibly, but I don't know if anyone.
really,
Yeah, BioShock 4. So it's being I'm saying it's being speculated. The article didn't say anything about speculation aside from they saw some job postings for wow, inappropriate. But
Hurry
yeah.
up.
So what they want to do is they want to implement more of a like Fallout slash Skyrim system, so more open world, and they're gonna end up doing more of like a dialogue thing similar to Cyberpunk.
I mean, I
I'm here
guess.
for it.
Ah, man, I loved BioShock Infinite.
I loved all of them.
They're great.
One and Infinite are
Well, I just
definitely two of my favorite
mean like
games.
the last one that they did, but I
Yeah,
loved it for what it was, dude. Like I don't want to see franchises just go based on what other franchises are doing just like because that's the new thing to do.
yeah,
Like
no, I
I'm not
definitely
a
feel
big
that.
fan of Assassin's Creed games for that reason
Yeah,
because there's, you go to a new area, there's a tower you climb up, you look at everything, and then you have all of your objectives highlighted so you can do them. And that's in every like generic open world game, especially Ubisoft games. Um, but like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War were like that.
uh,
The
worst
Arkham
games ever
series
made.
was like that. The Batman games, like even the new Spider-Man was not the new one, not Miles Morales, but last
Yeah,
year before Spider-Man was like that. I don't know if Miles Morales is like that. I haven't seen it yet.
It's
yeah, I feel like
basically the same game.
they really need to
It
go
works.
away with
It works.
synchronization
The story's
systems.
good enough to make you want to do all that shit. But
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of fun with Valhalla.
oh yeah, like that. I get bored in games that are that vast and repetitive.
Understandable.
That like you know I get caught up trying to do all the side shit and then forget what's happening in the story, and then it's no longer compelling. It's just
I
that's just
feel that.
Yeah.
Um,
ADHD pain.
maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just appealing to me. I don't know. I like studying lore and stuff in games and learning
Yeah,
everything I can.
sure.
I'm just a crack, except for Skyrim. That lore can stay where it's at. I'm not even touching that with a 1,000,000-foot pole. Screw the Elder Scrolls lore. I studied all the World of Warcraft lore, did every side thing possible in every expansion, stuck up with everything going on up until now, and I'm just like, no, I'm done. World of Warcraft, you've taken like 18 years of my life. It's over. That was a long marriage I had. I've been playing that game since it came out.
Golly, man.
I dedicated my life to World of
Yep.
Warcraft. Blizzard
Y'all
got
remember,
a lot of my money.
y'all remember Adventure Quest?
Yeah, dude. I still play it. Sometimes, not really.
Mm.
I sort of on a whim, I downloaded Adventure Quest 3D on my phone the other day because you can play it on mobile now.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sorry.
It's not the same, man.
It's
It's not
not.
that comic book side-scrolling, like
No, it's
halfway
bro,
animated.
it's like a RuneScape 3 ripoff.
Nah, dude.
Kind
Nah.
of.
You're giving it too much credit.
You're right. You're right.
You talking about the
It's
new
like
one?
what?
The
Yeah,
the
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 new
new.
RuneScape ripoff.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Oh.
it's not like I didn't play it long enough to know whether it was bad, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. It's trash. I played it for a good while on PC. It's no.
I'm not really an MMO guy though.
I am because I
Yeah,
like wasting my life with trivial things.
I'm not either, honestly. I just stick to the games I like, and
I might start playing
Good for me.
RuneScape again.
Really briefly here, did anybody see the new announcements by Disney today?
yes, like
No.
10 different Star Wars films, bro.
No,
it just
no, there's
shows-
more. There's Marvel, all the
Yeah, there's a
Marvel stuff that's
bunch.
coming too. Yeah,
Yep.
they have like 10
Well-
things with Marvel and animated movies, and oh my god,
It's a
were like-
really big list, and
They were like-
I'm super stoked.
Yep,
Let's
they're
see.
pretty much like, here's what we're doing for the next 4 years.
Oh, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but also in the midst of all of that revealing stuff, they raised the price by $1 for Disney Plus.
Fuck
Yeah.
'em.
Oh
I saw that
no!
as well.
I'm definitely not gonna notice that.
Hayden Christensen coming back too.
For Obi-Wan, yes. I heard that was already like we knew that already though.
Well, yeah.
It only made sense.
Yeah. He's
Exactly.
Darth Vader.
So let's see. I'm trying to see if I can find just like a list of everything that they released.
There's a bunch of shit. There's like they said over 10 different kind of Star Wars productions going on.
Yeah, it's a really long list, but we're here for all of it.
Oh snap!
you guys
Willow
hear
with
what-
Warwick Davis.
What?
What'd you say, Tommy?
I said, you guys hear what was going on with Facebook today?
Yeah, like
No, what
48
happened?
states sued them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Filed a
For
lawsuit.
what?
Facebook has acquired so many other smaller social media content platforms that there are states suing them for creating a trust on social media and not giving anybody an option to use a social media that is not owned by Facebook.
Boys, closed on Facebook, going back to MySpace. Let's all go learn HTML again.
Tom is still my
bought,
friend.
Instagram, and they bought WhatsApp, and they bought a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And they basically like cornered the market on social media, except for Twitter. I don't think Facebook runs Twitter.
No,
No,
it's still
you could
Mr.
link 'em,
Jack.
but that's about it.
So like all these states sued them for like violating antitrust law.
Wow.
Jeez. Well, you guys want to call it there?
Yeah, I'm good if everybody else is.
I'm
Yep.
solid.
All right.
I was glad to be here. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
thanks
Yeah,
for
dog.
thanks
Yeah,
for coming
thanks
on,
for
man.
coming.
We appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, anything you want to promote before we end it, Tommy?
Yeah, I'll just kind of repeat the whole deal. I play guitar in Delineate, Delineate. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram at DelineateFL, and Twitter at DelineateFL. And Mullins Music, go and if you have an extra $1 to them, they are absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean that's I guess that's pretty much it. If you I am an artist also. I take commissions at Ham Slamwich Art on Instagram. My art's not that good.
Yes, it is.
It's better than mine.
I feel like I had to shamelessly self-plug at least once today.
You gotta.
Yeah, all your links are going to be in the little description if anybody wants to open that up and check it out if you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're on SoundCloud, go to YouTube. All right. That's Leftovers at Midnight, episode 6.
Signing out.
Bye.
Bye.